Good afternoon and welcome to a daily dose of good news on Friday, July the 16th. It's good to be with you. The good news today comes to us from the book of Psalm, number 89, verses 20 to 37. I found my servant David. With my holy oil I have anointed him. My hand shall always remain with him. My arm also shall strengthen him. The enemy shall not outwit him. The wicked shall not humble him. I will crush his foes before him and strike down those who hate him. My faithfulness and steadfast love shall be with him, and in my name his horn shall be exalted. I will set his hand on the sea, and his right hand on the rivers. He shall cry to me, "You are my Father, my God, and the rock of my salvation." I will make him the firstborn, the highest of the kings of the earth. Forever I will keep my steadfast love for him, and my covenant with him will stand firm. I will establish his line forever, and his throne as long as the heavens endure. If his children forsake my law, and do not walk according to my ordinances, if they violate my statutes and do not keep my commandments, then I will punish their transgressions with the rod, and their iniquity with the scourges. But I will not remove from him my steadfast love, or be false to my faithfulness. I will not violate my covenant, or alter the word that went forth from my lips. Once and for all I have sworn by my holiness, I will not lie to David. His line shall continue forever, and his throne endure before me like the sun. It will be established forever like the moon, an enduring witness in the skies. Here ends the reading. Friends, this psalm recounts the promise that God made to King David. And notice throughout who's on the line for this promise. If David's children forsake the law and do not walk in his ordinances, if David himself does not follow the law or walk in its ordinances, if they violate God's laws and do not keep God's commandments, God will punish them, God says, and yet God will not remove God's steadfast love. God will not lie to David, God says. God's line will continue forever, and God's throne endure before David like the sun. It shall be established forever like the moon, an enduring witness in the skies. And sure enough, David's progeny fell short of their calling before the Lord, as did David himself. Given his adultery with Bathsheba and the murder of her husband as part of the cover-up, David too, like his progeny, fell short of his calling before the Lord. And yet, nonetheless, God keeps the promise. God keeps the promise in Jesus. Jesus, the son of David, and his progeny were called to be honest, just, merciful, upright, loving in every circumstance. And given Jesus' fate on the cross, perhaps we get a clearer understanding how and why so many before Jesus in David's line failed to toe the line themselves. It was a treacherous path, to be sure, according to the world. And yet Jesus did it. Where David and his progeny could not, Jesus did it. And with his resurrection from the dead, as vindication and validation of God's promise that I love you, always, good times and bad, life and death and life again, we see that God keeps God's promise. Friends, cling to the promise of God and God's steadfast love for us, even amid the challenging, confusing, uncertain times in which we live. God has kept God's promise, and ours is the freedom to live into that promise and the truth that it means for our lives, come what may. Amen. Pray you all are well in this month of June with a little more rain than we are usually um, thinking about at this time of year. Invite your prayers for Gail Svensson. She has been returned to OSU Hospital with some breathing difficulty. We're hopeful that her breathing treatments will improve and that she's able to, again, resume her recuperation at Westminster Thurber and then get home as soon as possible. Having been in the hospital since February, it's been a long, long journey for her. Take care. Let us know if we can be of any service or ministry to and with you. And we'll hope to see you soon. Talk to you again. Bye-bye.